Hi friends, welcome back to Code Explorer again. Here I am Pavitra Banerjee with you, and you are watching this video as a part of our C programming tutorial series, and I think this is going to be the 7th video of our playlist. And today we will discuss about operators in C programming language. And after watching this video, I am sure that you will have not any problems about the operators in C programming language. Okay, so let's start the video today. So for that I am going to create a new tutorial file here. So it is going to be tutorial 7.c. okay, and first of all here I will create a new file using main, and I will simply remove these also because I don't need something here, and I will also want to increase the font size here. I think this is perfect, and here I will uh, import the, and I will include the standard.io.h file. So I will simply include the standard.io.h. okay, and I will also write it here. Okay, so today what will we discuss about? Today we will discuss about operators in C programming language. So for that I have created a new whiteboard here. As you can see that here I have written that we have total 6 pages, and here I have total 5 uh, operators in C programming language. One is arithmetic operators, then we have relational operators, then we have logical operators, then we have bitwise operators, and here I have mentioned something about bitwise operators which I will discuss with you later, and one is assignment operators. So total 5 operators we have. So what will you do? First I am going to here to arithmetic operators. So what is arithmetical operators? Arithmetical operators mean are those operators which help us to uh, perform some arithmetical operations. So first of all, to know about operators, first of all we have to learn what is operators. So operators are those types of symbols which we use between some operands to perform an operations. Okay, so here as you can see that I know you have already used these plus operators which is used to add numbers, these minus operators which is used to subtract numbers, these multiplication operators to use multiply numbers, and the division operators to divide numbers. Okay, and here you can see that one is this person type of things here. So the name of this is modulus operator. Okay, and it is used to find remainder. Okay, so let's suppose that uh, you are given that 4 divided by 2. You will say the answer will be 2 here, right? Yes, you are right that if 4 divided by 2 is 2. But when we will perform the modulus operator, at that time what will happen? At that time 4 modulus 2 will be 0, because if we divide 4 with 2, at that time no reminders will be. So this is the function of our remainder operators. That means it is modulus operator. Okay, so let's suppose you have that uh, 5 remainder 3. That means you are dividing 5 using 3. At that time you will get 2 as remainder. Okay, so let me go to the uh, VS Code and show you that how our these operators works. Okay, so for that I am going to my VS Code here, and as you can see that I am now inside my VS Code, and here I will write some code here. First of all I want to initialize an integer a and b. Okay, And what will I do? I want to give this integer a as, let's suppose, 22, and b should be 7, let's suppose. Okay, now what I want to print. So printf we will use, sorry, so here printf I want to write that a plus b is equal to a plus b. That's it. Okay, here what will I do? I will simply copy this line and I will paste it for 4 times, sorry, for 5 times. Okay, and using alt we can, and after pressing the mouse we can create multiple cursors in VS Code. So here I want to create this minus, then I want multiplication, then I want division, then I want the modulus operators. Okay, so I think you know that in VS Code we have a shortcut here which is code runner extension, and after running this we can simply run this code. So as you can see that it's printing that a plus b is equals to 29, a minus b is equal to 15, a multiplies b is equal to 154, a divided by 3, a divided by b is equal to 3, and a multiplied by a modulus b is equal to 1. Okay, so modulus is an extensor, so we have to use this. Sorry, we have to use this. And now what if we run it? It's not giving the percent sign. Oh, sorry, to print the percent sign we have to give it for 2 times, if I am not wrong. Then okay, as you can see that a modulus b is 1. It is why? Because uh, as you can see that here are the function operators we have used already. One is plus, one is minus, one is multiplication, one is division, and one is modulus. Okay, so these are the basic arithmetical operators in C programming language. Okay, now I want to move to the next operators, which is this relational operations. Okay, so what this relational operation means? Relational operation means operators means it's these operators basically check the relations between our operands. Okay, so for let's suppose that we have this equals double equal sign here. As you can see that we have this double equals here, it's denoted to is equal to. Okay, this is known as not equal to. This is our greater than, this is our less than, this is greater than and equal to, and this is less than equal to. I think you know the these types of operators we have already used in arithmetics also, or something else you have used these types of operators. So let me show you that how these operators we can use. Okay, so for doing that I am going to my VS Code again, and here what will I do? I will just suppose, let's suppose I first of all I will comment these lines, and here what will I do? I will press alt and I want multi cursors. Sorry, I tapped on Windows key. What the? Okay, so here what can I do? I will write, let's suppose, double equals. Okay, and here what will I write? Here I will write the not equals to. Okay, so for writing not equals to, we have to simply write like this. Okay, so now let's run this code. I will kill the terminal for now and I will run this code again. Here you can see that it's giving us that a equals b is 0 and a not equals to b is 1. Here 0 and 1 means 0 means false and 1 means true. In C programming language, 0 means false and 1 means true. Okay, as I have already discussed with you that in binary system we have 0 and 1 values only, and using 0 we can denote false and using 1 we can denote true. Okay, here it is that it's checking that if a is equals to b, it's giving that a is equal to 22 and b equal to 7. That means it's not same. So the a equals to b is giving us false and a not equals to b is giving us 1. Okay, so these are the types of uh, relational operators in C programming language. Okay, now we can move to our next part. So for that, here we have logical operators. So as you can see that here we have used this AND for 2 times, which is known as logical AND. We have used this OR for 2 times, which is logical OR, and this exclamation marks for 1 time, which is known as logical NOT sign. Okay, so what we have to do? Now I want to show you that how this works basically. So for doing that, I want to go to my VS Code again, and let's suppose here I am going to show you we have multi-cursors already, so I want to show you that A or B, and here I want to show that A and B. I forgot to create the multi-cursors here, sorry, don't worry, I will type it manually. Then I will hit to the code runner extension again, and as you can see that A and B is equal to 1 and A or B is equal to 1. That means A and B is also true and A or B is also true. That means we have to understand that. Okay, so here what is checking? This and these ORs are checking that if there are anything 0, if there are any integer value and that is not 0, non-zero integer value we have, at that time the both of and or operator will return us 1. That means that is true. Let me create that the b will be 0. Let me show you. At that time what will happen, you have to watch, and you can see that at that time a and b is equal to 0 but a or b is equal to 1. Why this is? Because as we know that for and we are trying to say that these and these, that means both of us are important for me, but for or we are saying that these or that, that means maybe one is true, at the time it will return us true. Okay, here it is getting that a is true, so it is returning us true, but for and it's checking that a is true but b is false, that means it's returning us false. Okay, these are the basic difference of and or. Okay, I think you have understand that what I am trying to say. For next, I want to move to the most important topics here, which is the bitwise operator. Okay, so what is this bitwise operators means? Bitwise operators are basically those operators which we use to perform some operations bitwise. As you know that C programming language is very barebone programming language, and it directly contract to the hardware of our system, and in the hardware we have bits. So these bitwise operators are used to uh, operate something in bits. For that I want to show you that, let's suppose we have here three types of operators. basically, but we have more operators in bitwise, but we will discuss about them later in this series. Here you can see that we have a single AND, which is known as binary AND operator. We have a single OR, which is known as binary OR operator, and we have this sign, which is known as binary XOR operator. Okay, so let me show you that uh, uh, let's suppose you have 2 in binary, you have 2 and you have 3. Okay, we know that for binary we can convert this to like 1 and 0, and for 3 we can write this as 11. So when we will try to perform the binary AND operator using these 2 and 3, what will this do? This will take this 10 and this will take this 11 here, which are binary, and inside this it will perform the AND operators. Okay, so let's find this, that what will this calculate. Here you can see that we have 0 and 1. So what is the AND operations between 0 and 1? Here 0 means false, 1 means true. Here 0 for AND we have one false value, that means the whole will be false, so it will be 0, and we have 1 and 1, so the value is 1, so it will return us the value 10, and then it will convert us to our decimal number system, so it will return us 2. Okay, I think you have understood that. So let me show you in this, in our VS Code. For doing that, what will I do? I will simply remove this. Okay, and I will try to write 3 here, and I will write 2 here. It is why, because that 2 and 3 are the smallest numbers in binary, but you can try to do these types of operations using more large numbers. Okay, you can see that A and B is 2, and A or logical or B is equal to 1. A and B, here and is our binary AND. Okay, I think you have understood this binary AND operation. Now let me show you that how the work goes on here for the binary OR operator. For binary OR operation, what we have, let's suppose we have 2 and 3 here. As you can see that 2 means 10 and 3 means 11 in binary. So what will this do? This will take 10 and this will take 11, and here it will perform the logical binary OR operation. For OR operations, you know that for OR operations we need only one value true to return us true. So here 0 is false but 1 is true, so it will return us 1, and 1 and 1, that means the both are true, so it will also return us true. That means it's 11, and then it will convert us this binary to decimal, which is 3. Okay, so let me show you here in this VS Code. So I will simply remove this one logical and logical OR. Now it's binary OR, and I want to clear this terminal, kill this terminal, and then I will hit the coderunner extension, and as you can see that the binary AND value of this is 2 and the binary OR value of this is 3. Okay, as I have shown you that how this is happening. So if you want to try this with some larger values, you can try to assume that what is happening, and then try to find out that what will the terminal will return us, what the C compiler will return us, and then try to run the code in your VS Code terminal, and let's see that your assumption and VS Code terminals result are matching or not. If they are matching, that means you are right. Okay, so now I want to show you something here. I have made something for you. here I have made something like this table. Okay, here what we have done, we have taken a and b as input, and then we are trying to we are giving it some operators. We are using some operators to make some operations here, and these are basically for our bitwise operations. Okay, what are we taking first? First we are giving 0 as input of a, and b as, and 0 is as the input of b also, same. Okay, so for logical, for binary and, what will this check? It will check that both value are false, that means it will return as false, so the 0 will return. For binary or, same thing, that no value is true, so it will return as false. And what is this? This is binary XOR operators. Okay, so basically XOR operators means that it required only one value true and only one value false. At that time it will return as true, otherwise it will return as false. That means if for both cases, if false and false, that means the binary XOR operator will return as false. If both are true, at that time it will return as false also. But one is true and one is false, at that time it will return as 1. Okay, so let's see. 0 0, so OR operation and operations will return as 0, OR operations will return as 0, and XOR operators are returning as 0. Then we are giving 0 as input of a and 1 as input of b. The AND operation is checking that 1 is false, that means false, whole is false, so it is returning as false. But for this OR operation, it is checking that 1 is true, so it will return as 1. And for the XOR operation, it is checking that 1 is true and 1 is false, that means it's false, that means it's 1, that means it's true. Okay, and then you can see that we are giving this 1 here as input of a, and 0 as input of b. At the time it is returning as the AND operation is checking that 1 is true but 1 is false, that means it will give us the false. OR operation will check that 1 is true and maybe 1 is false, that means it will return as 1 true, that means it's true. XOR operators is checking that 1 is true and 1 is false, condition matched, that means it will return as 1, that means true. And for the last case, what we have done, that let's suppose that a is also 1, b is also 1, and at that time AND operation will check that both value was true, that means it will return as true, that means 1. OR operation will return check that maybe one value is true and it's checking that both value are true, that means it will return as also 1. And for the XOR operations, it will check that both values are true, no values are false here, so that means the condition doesn't match and it will return us as false. Okay, these are the things. I will say that you can do this in your VS Code terminal. You can use the Replit terminal also. You can use the Replit online IDE, and you can share the Replit link here inside my comment section, and I will check out that. Okay, and here one more thing we have left, that is assignment operators. What is this? Here you can see that single equal sign, it's used to assign some values to the variables. We have already used this. Okay, let me show you. Here you can see that we are using this only single equal sign, and what is this doing? This is giving this value 2 to our this variable a. Okay, this is the mean of this assignment operators of equals. Okay, that means single equals. And then we have an increment operators, which is plus and then equals to. That means what will this do? This will show us that for our some cases that we want to increment some values. Okay, at that time we will use these operators. Sometimes we want to decrement some values, so for that case we will use these decrement operators, which is minus and equals to. That means first of all it will minus the decrement size what we want, and at that time it will assign the value to the variable. And same happens for the multiplication and for the divisions also. Okay, and there are some more types of operators in C programming language. For bitwise operators, we have one that's called that binary ones complement operators. Okay, we have binary left shift operators, binary right shift operators, which are bitwise operators basically, but they are used rarely in our C programming. But if we use that types of thing, it will basically completely go into the field of Boolean algebra. Okay, but for now we don't want to read Boolean algebra right now, but if that required, then we will read about that later. Okay, and some miscellaneous operators also we have. Let's like size of operators we have, which returns the size of a variable. Okay, and there are some some operators like we can use the star for pointer also, when we will read about that heap and stack uh, structure of our CPU. At the time we will try to understand that what is the pointer means. And there are some conditional operations also, conditional expressions, and when we will start to read for if else conditions like of statements, okay, at the time we will read about that. So for now I will ask you to just simply write down the these types of things. This I will ask you to write this in your exercise book, in your notebook, and I will ask you also to write some codes like I have written here from your own, and try to practice that what will these operators will return. Okay, if you do like that, that means your logic building skill will be improved. Okay, this is why I am saying you so. So I think this is enough for today, and you have understand the operators in C programming language very easily. So if this video helps you, then please subscribe my channel and like this video. And if your friend is struggling to understand these types of things, then you can refer this video to him. It will also help him also. Okay, so I will share the some links here inside my description box. I will share the link of this PDF share. I will share, create the PDF for this file, and then I will share the link there. As you can access the link, you can access the board my I have created, and I will also share this uh, code link in the I will use Replit IDE, and I will give you the Replit IDE link. Okay, there you can check. So that's for today. I will meet you in the next video. Till then, stay safe and happy coding.